Okay, chapter 5 called Design Your Lives. I'm doing something that I hadn't planned on doing, which is actually re-recording a video. At the beginning of this, I said I was just going to do one take for each one, not worry about getting it perfect and just post it, but I just watched the video I recorded for chapter 5, and I was hiding. It was basically 7.5 minutes of me talking about generic lessons that I learned rather than actually telling you the different lives that I designed, probably because I'm afraid to share them because they're not fully figured out and I'm a little nervous about that, but that's the whole freaking point. So I'm redoing it. So basically, chapter 5. It has you design 3 totally different variations of your life that you could do and be happy, and they're not supposed to be similar to each other at all. So you can't just do slight tweaks. You have to do totally different versions of your life. And you do include work, but it's not only work. So it's like, where would you live? Would you start a family? What types of hobbies would you have? And you draw it out on a 5-year timeline. So this is what my 3 lives could look like over a 5-year plan. And then at the end of each one, you give it a title. You you list out the questions that you have about that life after designing it. And then you also rate it on the resources, like how many of the resources that you would need to do that life that you currently have, how much you'd like it, how confident you are that you could actually do it, and how coherent it is with the life view that you wrote down, I think it was in chapter 2. So this one is fun because it's really starting to come together, but also a little nerve-wracking because it's really starting to come together. So I do what I do best, which is turn it into a world of sticky notes. Aha, yay. So I'm going to take you through my 3 life, or what they call Odyssey variations. And maybe you can give me random thoughts that you have after listening to it, and what you know about me, just to see if there's anything else that I didn't fully explore. So my life option number 1 was a people first product leader. So this is continuing kind of in the career path I'm currently on, moving to another company to do product, eventually growing to be a head of product. And also in this version, I had myself going back to school specifically for psychology because I love the people element of technology and just understanding more about how people's mind tick. So while I'm becoming a product leader, I'm also going to school to learn more about human psychology. And also I had myself doing 2 months remote every year. So staying in New York, but then for 2 months, 1 year I might go live in Paris. 2 months, 1 year I might go live in Florida because I like the warm. So finding a job that will let me do remote. In this life, I also am getting a dog. And I can't remember what else. So that is one option. My biggest questions from that Odyssey were, 1, what type of product work would I want to do? Because that is an open question. After leaving my job, I'm not sure what industry I would want to, or what vertical I would want to go back into. Second question is, will I be fulfilled enough as a PM? Because I am not sure if it connects enough to my purpose and feeling like I'm helping people. And then the last thing is about the location. So I have been somewhat thinking about leaving New York, but part of me thinks it's because of the money. But my question is the only reason I'm considering leaving New York money? In this version, I would make enough money to stay because I'm staying in product. But so my question is, will 2 months elsewhere be enough, or will I still want to will I actually want to do more, and maybe I don't want to stay in New York even if I could financially. Okay, so Odyssey number 2 is titled Small Business Owner Helping People. So in this version, I start my own company, not venture-backed, not meant to grow and scale for the sake of scale, but a small company that helps people kind of more on a one-on-one basis. I don't know exactly how yet. In this version, I also eventually live a bi-coastal life because I don't like the cold, so I go somewhere warm in the winter. And my main questions leaving this one is, 1, what would my company actually do? 2, would I be too lonely starting my own company? Because I do love leading a team and I love people, and like having an energetic environment I learned from chapter 3 or 4 is really important to me. And so I'm a little worried about the environment and just like the general lifestyle of this version. And the last question is, how will I make money in the beginning? Because before I actually have a company that's bringing revenue, like how will I live? All right. So then Odyssey number 3, life variation number 3 is called Chef Sarah Goes to Italy. So this one is kind of like the craziest of them all. And in this one, I basically pursue my hobby of cooking and baking as a full lifestyle. So I go work in a kitchen for a little bit and like just learn how to like chop and get some like basics of the kitchen environment, the restaurant environment under my sleeve. And then I go to Italy. I learn how to make pasta from a grandma. She makes me the best pasta maker in the land. I moved back to the US, but like a smaller city like Charleston or something like that, where I buy a house, and I then open up like a small bakery where people can eat my bread and hang out. And then with this one, I also start posting videos online to build kind of like a chef/baker community, and help kids also in the community learn how to cook and bake so that they can be ready to go into the working world sooner with like a tangible skill. So this one, my main questions coming out of it is, 1, do I even like cooking like that much for it to be like a full-time job versus just kind of a hobby? 2nd, do I actually want to live abroad, or is that more of a fantasy? So like it sounds cool in theory to go do like 6 months to a year in Italy, but like I love my friends, I kind of love my life here, so like would I actually be happy doing that, or is it just something that sounds like it'd be cool to tell people? And then the 3rd question I have is, would I actually like publishing like the online content and building that online community more than the cooking aspect of things? Like, should I focus more on that? Is that the goal, to have something to teach people online rather than the cooking itself? So those are my 3 possible life versions. I also did one extra thing where I recorded myself talking about all these odysseys, and as I was talking about all the little elements in all 3 versions, I put them each on a sticky note. So like this sticky is like work as a sous chef. This one's yoga practice. Start an online video publication. Buy a house. Write a book. These are all random things. Get a dog. All random things that I had in any of the 3 odysseys. And that way it kind of just let me realize that I don't need to pick exactly one of the odysseys that I wrote out. It was just a framework to let me think about multiple different things in the different verticals of my life, whether it's career, just play, family, love, whatever. And so it was kind of fun to look at this and be like, oh, I like all of these things, sound really cool. I could have all of these things as part of my life. And now it's just kind of a reminder on the wall of like, look at all these cool things I get to pick through. So yeah, that was chapter 5. I have my 3 potential odysseys. I have my questions that I want to dig into more to figure out like which variation of my life might be the one that is most coherent with what makes me happy. And my guess is heading into chapter 6, which is called prototyping, that we're going to do something with those questions and figure out how to prototype different elements of these 3 odysseys to make a decision that's more informed than just picking one of these right now. So heading into chapter 6, prototyping, and definitely let me know in the comments or just like texting me, emailing me, if you have any questions or just thoughts about some of the things I shared on this one, because this one was probably the most personal that I've shared so far.